Ah, my people, let me tell you a tale from the land of Nigeria, a tale of courage, fear, and the power of tradition. In a small village nestled deep in the heart of the forest lived a young man named Ekene. Born with the pale skin and golden hair of an albino, he was considered a child of the gods by some and a curse by others. But Ekene was a brave soul, and he refused to let the superstitions of his people define him. One sunny morning, Ekene woke up early, ate some potatoes and soup his wife Amaka had made the night before. Ekene decided to go on a hunting expedition, for he was a skilled hunter and loved the thrill of the chase. Donning his hunting garb and carrying his bow and arrow, he ventured into the dense forest, his keen senses alert slightest movement or sound. As he stepped into the wood, the sounds of the village faded away, replaced by the symphony of the forest, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, and the distant call of monkeys. Hours passed, and Ekene had yet to find his prey. But he was patient, for he knew that the forest rewarded those who respected its ways. Suddenly a twig snapped behind him, and Ekene whirled around, arrow nocked and ready to fly. But it was not a beast that stood before him. Instead, he found himself face to face with a group of men, their faces painted with intricate designs and eyes gleaming with a wild hunger. Before Ekene could react, they pounced, overwhelming him with their sheer numbers. The men bound his hands and feet, gaggling him to silence his cries for help. As they dragged him deeper into the forest, Ekene's heart pounded with fear, for he knew the stories of the sacrificial cults that lurked in these parts. They brought him to a clearing where a crude altar stood, surrounded by fear idols carved from wood and stone. Ekene was forced to his knees before the altar, his captors chanting in a language he did not understand. As the ritual reached its climax, a large man with a sharp knife approached Ekene, his eyes burning with a fanatical gleam. Ekene braced himself for the inevitable, his mind racing with thoughts of his family and the life he would never live. But just as the knife was about to descend, a commotion erupted among the cultists. Angry shouts and gesticulations filled the air, and Ekene realized that they were arguing over something to do with him. Finally, the leader of the cult stepped forward, his face contorted with fury. He shouted something at Ekene, and the young man felt a glimmer of hope ignite within him. It seemed there was an ancient taboo against albinos to their idols. To do so was considered an affront to the gods and would bring a curse upon them. The cultists, fearful of such retribution, had no choice but to release Ekene. With a mixture of relief and disbelief, Ekene found himself untied and pushed out of the clearing. His captors warned him never to speak of what he had seen. Ekene did not need to be told twice. He ran as fast as his legs could carry him, stumbling and falling, but never stopping until he reached the safety of his village. His family was overjoyed at his return, for they had given him up for dead. Ekene recounted his harrowing tale, and though the villagers were horrified by the actions of the cults, they were also grateful to the old traditions that had saved Ekene's life. From that day on, Ekene was regarded with a newfound respect by his people. His albinism, once seen as a curse, was now considered a blessing from the gods, a mark of protection and favor. And whenever Ekene looked at his pale skin and golden hair, he was reminded of the power of tradition and the value of life itself. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. Goodbye.